Hello and welcome. I am Chelsea Hazlett, and this is your weekly wisdom audio transmission. Thank you so much for being here. This week, we're going to dip into something that might surprise you and isn't talked a lot about, as far as I know. And this is grief, right? Grief is a portal. And we're going to talk about the grief of letting go of a timeline that you thought was yours. The grief of a dream that didn't unfold how you imagined it would. This kind of grief is sneaky. I mean, I think all grief is sneaky, to be honest, but I think it's sneaky in the fact that we don't talk about it, right? We talk about disappointment, but I don't think we talk about grief, right? Because this kind of grief doesn't always come with tears. Sometimes it actually shows up as confusion, sometimes apathy, sometimes defensiveness. I didn't want that anyways, right? Sometimes this nagging thought that you got it wrong. And sometimes there is this deep sadness. But here's what I want you to know. Just because the thing didn't happen exactly how your beautiful, sweet mind pictured it does not mean that that is dead. That dream is dead, that opportunity is dead, that experience is not available for you. More often than not, my experience is that grief is a signpost, that we're more attached to the form of what versus the frequency. So, how we got hooked on the specific how or what, we forgot the real thing we were calling in, which is the frequency, which is the experience, right? That's the truth. So the frequency is the desire underneath it all, right? How it actually looks in 3D. There's a reason that there are trite cliche sayings of, oh, it was beyond my wildest dreams. It's beyond my imagination. Yes, please. Because how our minds can formulate the way for us to experience something is not complete in the ways that we are actually able to and have the opportunity to experience it, right? So sometimes when it looks and feels like something collapses, it doesn't actually mean you failed. It sometimes means that your field just made space for something that matches where you are more closely. Maybe you have dispersed energy and you are trying to create more than one experience. And so it's not quite sure what you want, right? So this is not the vision you forced, but there is a vision that your body knows is yours. So in that grief of what is not, what is? What is there for you, right? Because this is a manifestation too. Letting go of misaligned versions is part of the creation process, is part of that messy middle I talk about. Grief isn't a detour, right? It is just a natural, beautiful part of the path if we can allow that to be the story for our beautiful, sweet mind. So maybe you're in that space right now. Maybe you have been in that space. Maybe you have not related to this, which is beautiful. But really, there is tenderness in that space. There's deep tenderness in releasing a version of a dream that didn't manifest in the 3D exactly as you had hoped, right? So if you're there right now, I invite you to pause and to breathe. Something that sometimes we do when is to rush to reattach to something else or to completely throw everything out. But I really invite you to let the grief do what it's here to do, which is loosen your grip. Let's not white knuckle our way through anything. We get to experience a softened version of our timeline, right? And so then when you can return to the essence, that word didn't want to come out of my mouth. When you can return to the essence of what you really feel, when you have released your white knuckle grip, because the iteration that actually transforms, the iteration that actually manifests and creates, we build on that frequency, right? That is a reflection of your frequency. And so that will be everything when you are able to come home to that spot within yourself. Thank you for being here. I hope this landed. As always, I adore and love every single comment and reflection and reaction that I get from any of these. So let me know, and I will be in hearing from you soon. Have a great day.